Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to be creating a work party or a work dinner makeup look. It's a little bit more full-on makeup, but everything's really blended. We use a lot of neutral colors, so even though there's like a good amount of makeup on, it looks a little bit more natural, and then I did a fairly strong lip to pair it with as well. So tonight we're actually going out to a going away party, which, as I'll explain a little bit more in the video, is unfortunately extremely common in journalism because it's a little bit of a transient business unless you actually live in the city that you're working and your whole family's from there. A lot of times people tend to move a lot, but we'll get to that more in the video. So if you want to recreate this look, keep watching. Okay, so to get started, actually, before I even put anything on my face, I hydrated with the Neutrogena Hydro Boost water gel. It's really hydrating, so I love putting this on my face. And once I let that dry, I put my primer on top, and the primer I used today is the Estee Edit Pore Vanishing Stick, and this one's really nice to keep your makeup setting matte all day. I've also put a little bit of Burt's Bees chapstick on my lips to keep them hydrated, and the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. So now that I have like hydrated the skin, let it set, put my primers on my eyes and my face, I'm now going to get started with the makeup. So we're going to do something fairly simple, and I'm so excited. My brushes are so nice and clean. I just washed them yesterday, so I love using clean brushes. I feel like it's so nice when you go in, or maybe I'm just nerdy like that. Anyway, we're going to go with the Tartist Pro To Go palette. I think I showed you guys this last week. It's just a small, kind of a mini Tarte eyeshadow palette, which I really like because then I feel like I don't feel guilty if I don't use all the colors. So just across the entire, pretty much the entire lid, I'm going to go in with a color Drive with a Sigma E60 large shader brush. And I'm just going to kind of use that as like a base color, even though it's just a little bit darker than my skin color. And just use that, like I said, kind of as like a base color across. I'll just not bring it up quite all the way to the brow bone, but almost over the entire eyelid there. Okay, I'm then going to take my Sigma E70 medium angled brush, and I'm going to pick up some of the color Crisp and put that just into my crease. I'm not looking to do anything too dramatic for this look, just something that kind of looks, you know, put together but not really wild. I might use a little bit of a metallic color, but I kind of was gonna maybe stay a little bit more with the matte colors. And I'm already thinking this Crisp, I do like it, but I might work a little bit of the darker shade in also over the crease. I am gonna go in with the color Stylin' and just kind of work that over the crease as well. And that's why I know some people say, oh, you know, if you're just really careful with your eye application, they like doing their face first. I just always say do your eyes first, especially if you're going to do shadows. It just makes it so much easier. I feel like it looks a little bit dark. I'm just going to take my Sigma E40 blending brush and just start working that in a little bit before I go in with any other colors, just so that it's not too dark. You can use kind of small circular motions and kind of windshield wiper back and forth motions. I'm going to just take a little bit more of the Stylin', just darken out the very edge, kind of like the corner of my eye, that same dark chocolatey color. But that was just a little bit too dark all the way through the crease. Okay. I am going to take a little bit of the color Boss, which is kind of like a shimmery copper color. It's not quite the light gold color. And I'm just going to put that on the actual mobile lid. And I'm going to be using a Sigma E55 eye shading brush. This brush is kind of perfect for your lid, just because it really lets you pack a product on instead of swiping it. And I'm going to bring that up a little bit just into the very beginning of my crease. The nice thing about this technique, kind of instead of just doing a lighter color in the inner corner and a darker color in the outer corner, it takes a little bit more colors to kind of do more of a gradient from the lash line up instead of from the inner corner out, but it looks really nice once you've gotten all your products on. Now once that is nice and blended, I'm going to take a little bit of the Crisp color. It's kind of the more medium brown, and I'm just going to take a small Sigma E30 pencil brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that underneath the eyes. I'm also going to take a little bit of the color Boss that we used just on the mobile lid and kind of use that underneath as well, kind of starting on concentrating more on the front half of the eye and kind of concentrating that Crisp color on the second half, and just kind of blending that in. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's brought down. And you can bring it, you know, really far down if you want, or you can keep it really close to your lash line. Also, to keep the eyes really bright, I'm going to go in with the Sephora water liner in the color 03. It's just like a light nude. You can use any color, and really with something like this, you could even go in like with a gold in your waterline. Or you don't need to necessarily put anything in there. And then I think I might have used this in my last video, but I just picked up the Maybelline Master Kohl Liner. It's just a dark brown kohl liner. It has a really fat tip, so it's a little bit hard to make a precise line, but it just is a really, really nice color, and it goes on really nice, so I've been enjoying it, even though it's just a little bit harder to put on. And I usually just start kind of on the outside and kind of work my way in and keep the line smaller as we get closer to the tear duct, and a little bit wider when we get out. And I might do a little bit of a wing, we'll see. I'm then going to go in with Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I've heard that they actually recently reformulated the foundation, but this is just, I believe, let's see, this is Y315. This one's actually a tiny bit dark for my skin, but I'm going to be wearing a turtleneck, and I want to look a little bit more bronze with this kind of brown eyeshadow look, so I'm just going to take this on the skin with just a damp beauty blender, and I'm just going to work this into my skin so that it looks really sheer. Even though my skin is breaking out a little bit right now, I don't want it to look too thick. I'm just going to pump a little bit more on the back of my hand and kind of till I need as much, or as much as I need to kind of cover some of the imperfections. And again, with the beauty blender, it's just going to look a little bit more sheer. So tonight is actually a going away party. I know we're kind of, you know, creating this as like as a work party look, but specifically tonight we are going to a going away party. And unfortunately in the news, these are parties you go to unfortunately pretty frequently. A lot of times, you know, especially for reporters and anchors, tracks are only 2 or 3 years long, and a lot of times people, you know, move on and move up to bigger markets after they're done, unless the place that you're in is their hometown, or, you know, the place where they kind of want to plan on settling down. A lot of times, like I said, the people move. So, you know, we've had some really awesome friends, Nick and I, you know, made when we met down in Mississippi that, you know, really we just unfortunately really never see anymore. And, you know, it's definitely something that's hard when you're moving to a new place that you kind of know, hey, I'm only going to be here for a few years. But, you know, we still make really good friends because so often it's just kind of such an odd profession, though I think really any profession you kind of gravitate towards people that do the same thing you do. But just with us, the weird schedules and the hours and kind of some of the lingo and the jargon around the job, you kind of just tend to gravitate towards other, you know, news people, or, you know, obviously Nick's, you know, meteorologist, but even with, you know, weather, all TV people, we kind of gravitate towards each other. I'm then going to go in with the NYX Gotcha Covered Total Concealer. I'm going to just use this a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going to first go in with just a small flat concealer brush. I am going to use a beauty blender to blend it out, but I'm just going to just to kind of place it where I want it first. I saw someone else do this trick, kind of put it on a little bit with a brush first and then go in and blend it with a beauty blender. And I feel like it actually makes a lot more sense because, you know, then you know, get the product where you want it, but it doesn't take as long to blend, because just with this tiny little brush here, I know sometimes it'll take me forever to actually blend out the product. Versus if you go with the beauty blender, obviously you get a nicer blend and it goes a little faster. Okay, once you have that highlighter really well worked in, I'm actually going to skip the cream concealer. We're going to go in with a little bit of powder concealer, but we're going to actually just put a little bit of cream blush on, the Seraphine Botanicals and Guava Butter. I'm just going to take a little bit right from the tube and kind of dab a little bit just on my fingers and kind of blend that in instead of using a brush, just because I just want it to look really gentle. I will put a little bit of blush on later. This will just kind of help warm up the look. And I'm just going to take my Real Techniques setting brush. This is, of course, by the makeup artists that go by Pixie Woo, who, if you have never checked them out, absolutely should. They do really cool makeup. They have actually even been involved with a documentary for the BBC, and they do really awesome makeup. Okay, I'm then just going to go in with a little bit of the Ofra Banana Highlighting Powder just under the eyes. I feel like I've been doing this recently and it's really brightened up the eyes a lot. Let's just find, I usually just use like a large tapered blending brush to kind of pat that on, or just kind of swipe that on underneath. And obviously that yellow kind of corrects any of the blue or purple. Then you go in with a little bit of of powder contour here, just around the places that I would normally contour, so on the hollows of the cheekbones. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of the Pacifica Natural Minerals Wild Rose Blush on an angled Sephora blush brush and just pop a little bit on the apples of the cheeks. Next, let's go in with a little bit of highlighter. I have the e.l.f. Illuminating Palette. I'm just going to take a large fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to actually take a little bit of kind of the golden color here. I don't usually use it. I usually stick with the pink. I'm just going to tap it off to get rid of the excess, and I'm just going to dust a little bit that on the cheekbones. And I've just cleaned off my Sigma E30 pencil brush. I'm just going to take a little bit of that white shade to highlight my tear ducts here. And a little bit on the Cupid's bow. And just a tiny bit down the center of the nose. Let's go in and do something with the brows and the lashes. Any sort of brow duo with a pencil and a spoolie will work. Just take that spoolie first through your brows, and then a pencil, and you can start filling in your brows. Again, not looking for anything too harsh here. Just kind of filling in the areas that are sparse. For me, that's just kind of on the tops of my eyebrows. And then just blend that in with the spoolie. Work that color through the brow. Okay, once you have that where you want it, you can either set it with a clear brow gel, or I'm just going to take a little bit of the tinted Gimme Brow by Benefit in number 3. And just lightly work that through over the brows, just to set them in place. Or you can use a clear brow gel. Okay, now for lashes. My favorite, if you've watched my last few videos, has been the Smashbox X-Rated mascara. Just gonna work that onto the lashes, and I'm not gonna do any false lashes or anything today, and I don't think I actually have done false lashes yet in any of my videos, so I will have to do that in the next video or two. And then just to add a little bit of thickness, I'm going to put on my Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof mascara over it. Make sure with this one, I've noticed if you kind of warm it up, if you kind of put it in your pants pocket, or kind of even in the center of your bra, just to warm it up from your body heat, while you're doing the rest of your makeup, it goes on much nicer. Okay, and then to set the look before we go in with lips, I'm just going to use the Urban DeSlick setting spray. Okay, and then for lips, I'm going to be using another Tarte product, the Tartist Lip Paint in the color Delish. This came in my Ipsy bag, and I absolutely love it. As soon as I use it up, I'm absolutely going to go buy a full size. I'm just going to kind of paint that over my lips. And again, similar to how we did the brows, if you want to take a little bit of concealer or foundation to clean up the edges, for you, if that works, go for it. If not, then this look is completely done. Hope if you're headed out to any sort of work parties or work functions that you have a great time. Hopefully you have great coworkers. Oh, and Nick's here to say hi.
At the very least, you'll look good.
There you go, you'll look good.
There. See.
All right, well, hi, bye, Nick. All right, thanks guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.